Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, my name is Bill Heinzen. I'm the Vice Chair of the Mayor's Fund. The Chair, First Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright, is unable to be with us today, so I will be chairing the meeting. At this point, I'd like to turn it over to Marcella. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marcella Tillett, Executive Director of the Mayor's Fund to Advance New York City and Board President. We are going to jump right in. I'm going to refer you all to your board packets. Please refer to page 3 in your board packet to review the minutes from the last board meeting, which took place on March 13th, 2023. Are there any comments or edits to the minutes?
No.
May I hear a motion to approve the minutes from March 13th?
So moved.
Second. Thank you. All in favor? Wonderful.
Aye.
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 No, you're taking notes?
I'm sorry?
Are you taking
Yeah, I'm
notes?
taking
Okay.
notes, yeah. I was
Sorry.
Sorry
about that.
She seconded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes,
second.
yes, yes. So Lorraine moved on second, and all in favor. Okay, so before we move on to our 2 resolutions for this meeting, I want to bring your attention to pages 6 through 10 of your board packets, which includes my executive director report and descriptions for the 2 officer positions currently open for the board. For the sake of time and to allow it enough time for our upcoming presentations, I'm going to refrain from reading the executive director report highlights, but open the floor to any questions.
On the 2 positions that are open for Board Secretary and Board Treasurer, have we, these are posted now?
They are not posted, but we will be encouraging you all to identify any candidates and move them through whatever networks you think are appropriate.
And have you already determined potentially salary ranges based on prior incumbency or?
So our officer roles are unpaid,
Okay.
and they're total volunteer positions.
Got it.
Wonderful. That is what I love to hear. So on that note, as for the officer positions, we need your help in identifying candidates for both roles. So please review the responsibilities and qualifications for each on pages 8 and 9. You can share your recommendations with myself, the chair and vice chair. I'd be happy to meet with any recommendations that you bring forward to introduce them to the work of the Mayor's Fund. Identifying a new treasurer is our top priority, as Mayor Bashar resigned from his position as of the last board meeting on March 13th, 2023. We intend to bring forth nominations for both roles before our next board meeting, which is scheduled in October. So I think you all are aware that our audit process is about to start for FY23. Our treasurer is a critical role in that process, so that is the top priority. But of course, we also need a secretary. We should have both in place by the October meeting. So we'll either do a board call or we'll do a vote by email.
Okay.
Any other questions or thoughts on recommendations for recruitment of those 2 officer roles?
I have a recommendation for you.
I'm very excited about it. Do you want to say more, or do you want to just wait and send them to
I
me?
could say a little bit that she's someone who's been involved in philanthropy, and she is vice president at Empire Casinos, and has been very much involved in nonprofit,
Okay.
and is a avid fundraiser, and has a vast network. So
That's
her
great.
name is Tracy.
Okay, that's great. So you can send me her contact information.
I
and
will
follow
send
up.
that. I'm just asking for it right now. So.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, any other follow-up, feel free to email me directly. You can copy the rest of the board, and we'll continue to get the word out. So I'm going to move on to the resolutions, if that's okay.
Yes.
So today we have 1 resolution for your review and vote. Also, for the record, we are noting a resolution on the adoption of revisions to the city contract which was approved by email on May 25th, 2023. It's indicated in your board packet on page 11 as Resolution 1, adoption of revisions to the city contract. I'm going to read the resolution for the record. Resolution 1, adoption of revisions to the city contract. Whereas the city and the corporation entered into a contract dated July 1, 2020 for a one-year term, July 1, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, with 3 renewal option periods of 1 year each at the option of the city. And whereas the contract will expire on June 30th, 2023, and the city has elected to exercise its third option to renew the contract for the period of July 1, 2023 through July 30th, 2024. And whereas the city and the corporation seek to increase the retainage amount stated in the contract from an amount not to exceed 8% to an amount not to exceed 15%, among other changes. And whereas the city and the corporation seek to increase the amount the city shall pay the corporation for the period of the renewal term from $700,000 to $800,000. And whereas pursuant to Section 9 of Article 3 in the fund bylaws, any action required or permitted to be taken by the Board of Directors may be taken without a meeting if all members of the Board of Directors consent in writing to the adoption of the resolution authorizing the action. Now therefore be it resolved that the contract effective as of July 1, 2023 shall be renewed and amended such that the corporation shall retain an amount not to exceed 15% of the program funds, and resolve that the contract effective as of July 1, 2023 shall be renewed and amended such that the city shall pay and the contractor shall accept for the period of the renewal term an amount not to exceed $800,000. And resolved further that this instrument be filed with the minutes of the proceedings of the Fund's Board of Directors. Okay, so that. And you can see the email exchange. It was actually approved on May 31st, 2023. Resolution 2, adoption of new administrative fee policy. This resolution is related to the revision of the fund's administrative fee policy. Please refer to Resolution 2 on page 15 in your packet. This resolution was mentioned in our March 13th meeting to be revisited today. Our current administrative fee policy doesn't adequately reflect the costs associated with Mayor's Fund, administrative and fiscal oversight of programs and partnerships, and is far below the average philanthropic sector administrative fee, which is in the range of 12 to 15%. As such, the resolution below is proposed as follows. Resolution 2, adoption of new administrative fee policy. Whereas the fund currently implements an administrative fee on most of the fund's general and programmatic donations, and whereas the fund currently applies a fee scale based upon the size of the donation, but which does not exceed 8% of the program funds, now therefore be it resolved that effective as of July 1, 2023, the fund shall implement a flat administrative fee of 12% on most of the fund's general and programmatic donations, and resolve that based on the scale and duration of a specific program and or the level of the Mayor's Fund direct management activity, the Mayor's Fund may at times waive or modify the administrative fee appropriately, but the administrative fee may not exceed 15% of the program's funds. And resolve further that this instrument be filed with the minutes of the proceedings of the Fund's Board of Directors. Are there any questions on this resolution?
Not for me.
No? Bill, any questions?
What would the mechanism be for waiving the fee?
So it would happen based on internal management conversation, typically between the Director of Programs and myself.
Okay.
Any
Okay.
other- Okay. Can I have a motion to move this resolution?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Moved by Bill, seconded by Lorraine and Dawn. All have been in favor. The resolution carries. I think that deserves a round of applause. I'm very excited about this resolution. This is very important to our budget. So thank you for that.
About both of them.
Yeah, they both are critical. So we're gonna move on to our FY24 operating budget. We are joined by our Director of Finance and Operations, Jill Price, for a presentation of the FY24 operating budget for the Mayor's Fund. Please refer to page 16 in your board packet. Over to you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So we're reviewing our fiscal year 2024 organizational budget, which would begin on July 1st, go through June 30th of next year. We are looking at a total income of $27,817,560, broken down between foundation, government, corporate, and individual donations, as well as interest income earned on our investment funds and the administrative fees that you guys just approved the resolution to increase our percentage on, giving us a projected total income, including our contract, of $27,817,560. Our expenses for the year will break down as follows: $25 million for program expenses. Personnel expenses would be $2,285,015, and various OTPS expenses for consultants, auditor, office supplies, postage, marketing, etc., $360,900, making total expenses of $27,645,915, leaving a potential surplus of $171,645 for the year. Are there any questions?
Yeah, how would you, Jill, thank you for this, how does this compare with where we are now in FY23? In terms of revenue, for example?
It's much larger revenue. Last year, we only projected approximately 18 million,
So
whereas going forward, we're starting out at least 9 million higher.
what accounts for
Mostly,
this?
it's the difference comes in how much we're going to potentially receive from foundations,
Mhm.
from our corporate giving, and of course, administrative fee income. That's where the differences lie.
Okay, and are these projections then for revenue, these are based on like ongoing conversations with the foundations then? Like,
Do you want me to take this one?
Please.
So these are based on some prospecting, ongoing conversations, and the administration priorities that we're partnering on for FY24.
mhm.
We will likely, and I'm sure Jill is going to mention this, come back mid-year to modify and update where we are. But there are several very large, very exciting programmatic priorities that we're partnering on with different agencies and the mayor's office. So the foundation contributions and the corporate contributions are a reflection of that.
As is the administrative fee,
Yeah.
because now we've increased to 12%.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then, if I could just ask a couple more questions.
Sure.
Under expenses, for program expenses, like how would you just generally break that out?
It's based
'Cause
on
it's a large number relative to the overall number.
Yeah, so the 25 million that's the program expenses would all go back out into programmatic partnerships with agencies and offices. So, for example, the City Service Corps presentation that we're having
Mhm.
today, that's an example of where the program expenses will go directly. And the personnel and OTPS are all part of the operating budget for the fund itself.
But,
So it's like re-granting, or it's,
yes.
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, that was gonna be my question on the expense side.
Yes.
The revenue side is very healthy, and that's good. On the expense side, is that already committed?
No.
Or programmatic?
No.
Oh, so this
These
is a
are our
projection.
projected. Yeah, we don't commit until it's received.
On the expense side I'm talking about, not the.
Yeah, on the
revenue side.
expenses. For the program expenses, those aren't committed until they're received, until they're confirmed from a donor.
I'm talking about expenses, so
Yes.
the money going out.
Yeah,
So,
Let me try. What happens is, we talk to an agency partner, we discuss what program they want to put into place. Once that is decided and a funder is identified and a contract is
Oh, I
put
see.
into
Okay.
place,
so this is just
a scope
pure
of work,
projection.
yeah.
a scope of work is determined based on each potential program, in which case, then they work out exactly how much it will cost for that program.
Because you could also, I was gonna say for budget purposes, you wanted to, I said you could also start it out with zero program expenses.
Well, we have
Right, if you
multi-year
do it that
grants
way.
and multi-year
Yeah.
programs, right?
Yeah.
So some of this 25 is
Is
already
already
committed,
committed.
right? And that's why it's included in this number. It also includes a portion, not 100%, of what we'll be fundraising for in FY '24.
Yeah, yeah.
Would it be helpful for you to see that?
No, I was just gonna recommend something, but I was just gonna recommend, only focusing on what's committed now. And then you have the rest as a reserve that then you can reapply, rather than appear as if you have your full programmatic, goals met. And then in essence, you might not, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
So it just helps from a fundraising perspective,
Yeah,
you know, to say, you know, for these programs, we need that much more of a commitment. And then you always have a reserve. Anyway, we need a reserve.
yeah. I think something we can do is maybe integrate into our board meetings, projected to actual.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would
So we
recommend
can,
that.
we can
I
track
would
that.
recommend that.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
helpful.
So we can hold this as our proposed budget, but
Yes.
have that real-time tracking when we have our board meetings.
Right. So that you can always see that
Yeah,
you have a need for fundraising.
that's right. That's right.
Any other questions?
No,
No, thank you.
So great.
it's a helpful inquiry.
Yes. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the FY '24 budget?
So moved.
So, moved by Dawn, seconded by Lorraine. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Ayes have it, the motion carries. Okay, we are going to have a guest.
Not here?
of a cooking.
Perfect. Right on time. It's 4:29, and slated for 4:30.
And even my
Made it through. We just made it sufficient.
Where did you find these folders?
They're in the closet.
They were
I know.
buried in the
They were
closet.
buried in the closet.
They're buried in the closet, okay.
Hi, Erin.
Hello, everybody. This is like
You come
like
up
a
with
group
so
of
much
friends.
energy.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, because
You
it's
don't need to
NYC
give it
service,
back.
I'm bearing gifts.
And of
Thank you.
nominal value.
Yes, now feeling guilty that I once did the there.
You can keep it, just bring it back next time. That'll be your
We
permanent.
recycle. Thank you so much. Pretty.
So, as a standard part of our forthcoming board meetings, we're excited to feature a Mayor's Fund program partner to provide more insight into the range of areas of impact achieved through the fund's work. I'm going to hand it over to my colleague Najma Ali Sherman, our legal counsel and director of programs, to introduce our well-known partner.
Hi, everyone. So today we'd like to put the spotlight on New York City Service, who we work with very closely and collaboratively. So it's my pleasure to introduce the board to Erin Miner, Deputy Chief Service Officer at NYC Service, who will discuss the City Service Core Program. This program is comprised of high-impact projects led by city agencies that address critical capacity and community-related issues. And this program has a very unique funding structure with support derived from city agency sponsors and private sources. So with pleasure, I'd like to pass it on to Erin, who will discuss this program at greater length. And thank you for being here.
Well, thank you all. And on behalf of Laura Rogg, our Chief Service Officer, who is up at Grayson Mansion right now with our Youth Leadership Council program event with the mayor. I just want to say thank you to the Mayor's Fund. When we were founded in 2009, the Mayor's Fund has been a key partner of ours. And as we approach our 15th anniversary next April, it's really exciting to continue our partnership with the Mayor's Fund through a variety of our programs. And NYC Service from the beginning has been about connecting New Yorkers to each other through service and volunteerism. And today we have a variety of programs and projects doing just that. Our aforementioned Youth Leadership Councils, the Corporate Volunteer Council, the Spread Love campaign launched in March with the mayor, Love Your Block, and the City Agency Focused Service Bureau initiative. But at the heart of our work is our AmeriCorps programming. And when we started with one AmeriCorps program, the NYC Civic Corps program, on which we still partner with the Mayor's Fund, and we have since grown to 4. Supporting nonprofits and city agencies throughout the city, allowing residents to benefit from serving and from services that are then impacted to our fellow residents. In 2014, as First Deputy Mayor may remember, the idea for a new kind of AmeriCorps programming came about out of a service summit, which was attended by city and federal partners, as well as nonprofit leaders throughout the city. And so in the summer of 2015, we launched City Service Corps, as you said, a unique blended funding model with the city covering the member stipends and the living allowance, and private funds covering member benefits and services, which include training, transit and health benefits, service days, and events such as career fairs and networking events. This model was so unique that NYC Service published a blueprint for other cities to use similar strategies, which can still be found on our website, which was also funded by City Foundation, one of our prior funders. Since 2009, NYC Service has engaged over 2,300 AmeriCorps members in service. And right now we are waiting for results, me more than anybody, from our first ever longitudinal alumni study, which will be published later this summer. And we'll be excited to share that with all of you. And we're excited to see the impact that all of our programming has had. City Service Corps, in case you were keeping track of those 2,300 alums, about 650 of our alums have gone through the City Service Corps program in the 8 years since we started. I'm obviously going to speak a little bit more about City Service Corps, but I just want to speak briefly about our other programs. And in your folder, there is an overview of all 4. New York City Civic Corps focuses on nonprofits. We place members there to impact volunteerism specifically and improve volunteer strategy, development, recruitment, training, and management. Our NYC Vista program places members at city agencies to do capacity building work, which is anti-poverty focused. And then finally, our newest program is our NYCHA Health Corps, which we place members at nonprofits and city agencies. We recruit NYCHA residents to work within their communities to help improve health outcomes. And we partner as a lead partner. We're the grantee, but we partner with NYCHA as our lead partner on that. So City Service Corps has raised over $1 million in the past through the Mayor's Fund, mostly early on to support our work. Our vision for the program initially was for New Yorkers serving our fellow New Yorkers. And in your packet, there's a list of demographics that you can find. We're really proud of the fact that our members really represent the city of New York. And you can see in there just how diverse our members are compared to other AmeriCorps programs throughout the country. But also we are intentional about how we recruit folks. Our agencies have said over the years that they really value having residents from the communities coming into their agencies, having lived experience with the issues on which they're serving. And that has also positively impacted the member service and the agencies who are hosting those members. Each member receives about 200 plus hours of training each year. We really think that this is both a unique part of our program, but also something that is fundamental to make sure that our members are not only prepared for the service that they're currently doing, but that it also prepares them for what's next in terms of their careers. So we see our program as a platform for members to explore both their skills as well as their leadership, to launch them into whatever comes next. Most of our members end up in the nonprofit and city government sectors, but it's not exclusive to that. But about 30% of our members or so each year are hired by their city agency host site. Another 15 to 20% are connected to their next step career through their current service. And a good portion go on to future schooling using that federal education award that they receive at the end of their term of service. Our training is both tailored to member roles at their host sites, but also we provide generalized training for our members in things like project management and planning, data collection and verification. We do an intensive in the spring. We shift to kind of from them in service to them post-service. So we do resume writing, interview skills, negotiations, so that they can be prepared for their next steps. And then we do things such as career fairs and networking events. We also, this past year, something that supervisors and members had both come to us last year and said, we need a little bit more conflict management training. And so we've partnered with the Office of Administrative Trials and Hearings, or OATH, with their mediation team, who's created a curriculum cycle for our members so that they receive training, but also the supervisors are receiving training in conflict negotiation and management as well. And again, the host sites then do a bunch of specific trainings. We also provide them things such as Excel and Microsoft, the Microsoft suite, because several of our members, we have a good proportion who are what we would think of non-traditional in terms of AmeriCorps. World, most AmeriCorps members across the country come straight out of undergrad. That's not true in our programs. And so a lot of our members come in needing some basic computer skills in order to be successful. And so we try to provide those for them as well. As I mentioned, we also train our supervisors, both in mediation, conflict resolution, as well as working with Mentor New York on mentorship and what that means as a supervisor to also incorporate mentoring into your supervision practice. And we ultimately aim to increase the effectiveness and efficiency of programming at the host sites. 90% of our host sites last year said that because of their member service, their work was more efficient, which was great to hear and great to see in practice, because what that means is more New Yorkers are able to receive services. And so in the larger packet that's in your folder, you can read at your leisure, but there's a bunch of stories about members who are working in agencies from sanitation to Moya to parks, but all of them and the impact that they're making, you can see within those stories in there, which is exciting. Our original goal as well was to connect to the city's broader workforce development work, and excited that I have the opportunity to serve as part of the Workforce and Talent Cabinet, and so able to bring the AmeriCorps work to the table with the other workforce development programs that are happening throughout the city to think about how we can chart our course together to make sure that all New Yorkers are on a path to a quality career. 86% of our members agreed that their service year was a way to further their professional goals. And 97% of our members in our last year's cohort felt that they were able to better manage multiple projects and priorities because of their service. Our biggest challenge, I would be remiss if I said everything is easy with running these programs. Our biggest challenge remains member recruitment, especially right now. The living stipend in New York City can be a challenge. And we've been working with partners at OMB and others on ways that we can continue to increase that living stipend, which we have done each year over the past 4 years to make sure that we are trying to be as competitive as we can be in the city. But, by emphasizing the training that we're providing to members and the other benefits such as, Metro cards, healthcare, and all of the other kind of services, career fairs, et cetera, that helps in our recruitment of members. But really working with our partners at CUNY, at NYCHA, and with NYC Public Schools to really make sure that we continue to have a diverse group of members in our programs. So it's kind of any
Thank you.
questions or anything?
Aaron, hello.
Hey, Bill?
So on that issue of recruitment, on this AmeriCorps sheet where you list out the numbers, how would you compare the cohort numbers in the 4 different core with what with what you'd like to have?
Yeah, so in the 2021-22 program year, we were about at 70% capacity of where we want to be. We are looking next year at a cohort of 200 members. And so we're actually mid recruitment right now. So hoping to improve on this year. We had about 110 serving. We actually had more partners who were interested in taking on members next year, which is exciting. But that just means, okay, we gotta work a little harder to make sure that we recruit folks. And we have some great partnerships making sure that our recruitment is in local and ethnic media, that we're really working to make sure we're hitting. Our partners at NYCHA have been really great. The Reese group over there, and I wish I could remember what that stands for, but they work with residents on employment and engagement, and they have been a great partner in helping us to reach the NYCHA community as well.
I'm curious about the recruitment associated with public schools.
Mm-hmm.
The demographics have about a fourth of participants with a high school diploma. Are most of those people coming straight out of high school, or that just happens to be where their education level is?
I would say of that 27 or so, that 0.25%, I would say about 3/4 of them are a little bit older than a right out of high school student. Last year we piloted working with a handful of high schools to work with some of the teachers there, some guidance counselors, to get the word out to those schools. We've continued that partnership and hope to expand that as we move forward. The one other piece I should say about City Service Corps, which I don't have a one-pager on, we also work with the Department of Probation and have a small group of members. This upcoming year it'll be about 10 members in what we call a Young Adult Success Corps. So they're young adults between the ages of 18 and 23, 24, who are currently on probation. And we work with probation to provide some additional training for those members, but they participate and are placed. This upcoming year, they'll be placed at the Neons, providing support at the Neons as well. So, and that's been a portion of the program since the beginning as well. So,
That's great. We partner on the Neon, so that's great to hear.
And Aaron, when you're talking about household income at the start of the program, right, you referenced about $22,000. So as part of the study that you're talking about that you'll be publishing, is that one of the metrics you're looking at to determine the success of the
Yes.
program when you're looking at your alumni?
Yeah.
Your alumni population? Great.
yeah, I'm really curious to see over the course of time. We've asked for folks to look back retrospectively, what was your household income pre, and to look at it now, just to see how.
And
our
especially for
amounts
those
did.
who've continued on, within city government, flourishing at other agencies, that would be interesting to see that.
So in my hat as a promoter of an age-inclusive city,
Yep.
I wanted to, I'm curious about the work, I know the work, but so I'm curious for you to share the work that you do with New York City Aging and the older population. Because
Yeah.
I know that that's a robust program also.
Yeah, so we have had members at NYC Aging in the past and have partnered with all of you. We've provided some technical support to the new program that all of you have, the new AmeriCorps program that you have as well. And it is interesting, like I tell people, and this is true, like our youngest member this year is 18 and our oldest member is 71, I think 72.
Awesome.
And so, you know, people are coming at this with various reasons, but everybody wants to serve our city, and that's really exciting to see. So, yeah.
Is there an exchange, like, among the core itself when they get together? 'Cause just thinking about that generational spread, there's a lot of opportunity for just like sharing and learning.
Yeah, we one of the things that we spend a lot of time on, especially in the beginning of the year in our orientation, we do a full week orientation with our members. And really, it's about building community as well. And so it is interesting to see who those members are that connect with each other and then help support each other throughout the course of the year. So not just, oftentimes we'll have members intergenerationally at host sites. And so you see within the host site, you know, maybe one member isn't as familiar with technology, but one member, you know, has been around a little bit more. And so it is interesting to see those exchanges and how those work. And we definitely encourage, we have a member committee who are from throughout our programs who help advise us on trainings and other activities and events that we do throughout the year. And the various speakers we bring in, we make sure that people have a choice in a lot of our trainings. So, you know, if I feel like I've got, you know, this skill pretty well, but this one I don't know as well, we've given members a little bit of an option. So it's not like, okay, everybody has to hear this one thing, because we know that everybody's coming at different places with different experience, both age, but also, you know, work and life as well, so.
Other questions for Aaron?
Thank you so much.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all. I will leave recruitment cards here for all of you. But again, I just want to say thank you to all of you and the work that all of you do. And the partnership means a lot to us in our office and our members. So,
Thank you, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thanks so much for
Good to
coming.
see you.
see you.
Wonderful. So that is the first of many program spotlights. Just give some color and flavor and real life examples to the numbers and, you know, the metrics we talk about at the board meeting. It's good to hear about the programming. So more to come in our future meetings. I'm now going to open the meeting to our directors to discuss any new business or items for discussion, if any.
No, thank you.
No surprises for me? Okay, I mean, shockingly, we're early. This has been
The
a
gift of
very
time.
efficient meeting, very impressive. So I'm gonna ask for a motion to close this meeting of the Board of Directors. May I have a motion to close?
I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Lorraine is moving to adjourn.
Second.
Dawn is seconding. All in favor?
Hi.
Ayes have it. Thank you all.
Thank you.
This was great. Thank you, Vice Chair.
Thank you. Thank you.